welcome back to RC4wd. Got a new product here from RC4wd. We've got the new Warren 8274 Anniversary Edition. This is Warren's 75th anniversary. It's kind of crazy to think winches have been around for a long time. We've got an 8274. We put one on the 4Runner a while back. It is the old style, old school upright winch. This thing has some beef to it. Where did it say? Up to 50 pounds, 22.6 kilos of lift limit. Rolling drag 70 pounds. These things are stout, especially considering their 10th scale. So I'm gonna look and see what we can put this on today. I've also got their newer version of the wireless controller. Nice little setup. I've got some wiring stuff on order to, I don't know which rig I'm putting it on yet. I don't like running a separate battery. We don't have space for that usually on these scale trucks. And yeah, I got those little inline adapters for Dean's and XT60. I've got some Dean's ones floating around somewhere I haven't been able to find in the shop yet, but we'll get to that later in the install. So we're gonna get this thing opened up. It is actually pretty snazzy looking. You can't really see the other one down in here. I had to take the lead off of it and bury it in that CC hand bumper. Also had to notch the grill out on it. So I'm thinking I'm gonna put this on all red. Time we shine this thing up a little bit and do some work to it, get it back out on the trail, but I don't know if it'll fit. This is a very old, long discontinued RC4wd bumper, and if I remember right, I had a hard time fitting this winch in here, which I've never had functional. That winch was just strictly for look. Back when I built this truck, I could barely afford to do anything, so I got a winch for it eventually and just put it in. Never got a controller for it. So anyway, we'll see if we can get it in there on this bumper. If not, we may put it on the C2X. I just repainted the C2X, and yeah, get that thing dolled up, because that's more of a serious crawler. This truck is linked front and back. This was my very first TF2. I was looking at photos the other day. I started building this about 10 years ago, and just piecing it together. It used to have the T-Rex 60 axles on it. Big, giant, bulky, old school plastic axles RC4wd had way back in when. So anyway, yeah, we'll get this stuff opened up, take a look at what you get. So with the winch, of course, you get a sticker sheet. You get sticker sheets with just about everything RC4wd has branded. So the updates to this, obviously the red color. I don't remember if the other one had a fairly this nice, and this actually has a really nice hook on it. It's got the spring clip, the actual Warren fancy one. And the coolest thing is the braided rope, the synthetic rope. Actually looks really cool. All the scale stickers with the warnings and instructions and stuff on it. Same base, same mounting thing, so it should be able to configure in different ways. I know they sell a different base set where it moves this mount different distances front to back. You can take this one off and flip it around if that does work on your bumper. I'm looking in here, it might actually fit, I don't know. We may have to move, you have an option here to move the fairlead up a set of holes, and that might get us over the edge of the bumper. We just got to see how it works out. So with the controller, I'll get a little bag of screws to mount that to your bumper. The controller actually has some color instructions, which is really nice. This thing should have a battery in it. Yep, it is on and ready to go. Comes with a little wrist strap and your control unit and wiring for that. And like I said, this is designed to connect to the battery directly, and I like to run those little adapters on it to basically do away with that. We'll just run it straight to a splitter in line of the battery, because I run 3S lipos on just about everything, so we got more than enough power to run the truck and a winch and a servo. I'm not out comping or anything like that. So flip through the instructions real quick. It shows it direct connected, shows the battery change and install, so not a lot to it. Does that show battery into the thing and the thing into the winch? Looks like we got a good amount of lead on this, so should get us back to where all our wiring is going to be. So I'll take the truck body off and start looking at it off. Went ahead and put this little wrist strap on here. Only bad thing is having on multiple rigs. I may get them mixed up, but I've been doing good at keeping track of the other one with the 4Runner. So let's see what size screws we got underneath here. Try to do this without taking the bumper off. These look like some old big something or another's. Where are all my... Got the 4 screws out the bottom of the bumper. Gotta trim some zip ties up here, get these wires free. I had it run back with the servo wire. I've gotten a lot better on wire management over the years. We may have to, well, I think I'll wait on this one. I think this truck's going to be coming soon, getting a Hobbywing Fusion SE upgrade. So that'll reduce the amount of clutter and get rid of all this mess. This is a pretty good setup. This was my old go-to setup. So we had a 444 reefs and a TorqueMaster Expert 35 turn and a 1080 ESC with my program settings that I liked. And it is, again, a linked truck. It does have pretty crazy flex for a TF2. Oh, I got to get the fair lead off. I always hated that, having to route the fair lead or the wire through the bumper. It is problematic getting it out. This little thing, that one doesn't even have the cotter pin in it, so we should be able to yank that off of there. Getting that little sucker back in and getting that tied in a knot where it'll stay was always tedious. But that winch, that's the old, what is that? The 9.5 CTI. It looks pretty nasty. It's never been used. It's actually brand new. Still sounds good. Gears and stuff aren't messed up. It's got a little bit of patina on it. So we'll set that aside. Oh, I actually had to trim the plate on this one too to fit it on this bumper. Okay, I see what I did there. All right, so let's see how this big boy fits in here. So it looks like it's going to be a similar story. So I'm thinking we might could take the plate off of that one that's already been modified and mount this one to it, and then move the fair lead up to this other hole, and it'll just stick up there and hopefully not interfere with our grill. I hate to cut up the grill of the truck. I had to do it on the 4Runner. I've seen them do it to real trucks with these in real life, so it's kind of a thing with this big old winch. But if you need that much winching capacity, you really want to really want to do it. So let's see how easy this is. I didn't even notice the other one was adjustable. I like the look of that fair lead. The bumper doesn't really have much going on. Like I said, this is a really old bumper. That actually reuses the lenses and buckets from the Hilux body. So when you upgraded that, you could actually reuse those lights off of your stock bumper into that aftermarket bumper. And I think that was just an old RC4wd drive. What's their thing called? I can't remember. I'm just going to switch this up. Grab that other one started. This actually has red, well, could be red paint. Looks like red Loctite. But going into that red housing, it's probably just paint. I hope it fits on here after we've taken this truck apart. The C2X doesn't have a real place to put it. It's got a homemade bumper. So I know it has a little bit of a pad that I could bolt one to, but it would be fully exposed and we'd have to change the lights out on the front of it and move them or do away with them completely. So we'll see how that goes. There we go. That wire out of there. All right, so our plate is still hitting. I think with a little creative dremeling, I can make this work. I'm looking down in there. Probably gonna go ahead and swap the plates off the bottom. You can see this one only has 2 screws in it. We'll try to reuse the screws off of that one and see if we can grind the edge of those down once we get it on there. It's never just a perfect solution. Like I said, this is an old bumper. I'm trying to think, I'm looking at my trucks. I don't really have anything else that this would fit. It would be way too big for the RC Model X. Work on the C2X, but like I said, I don't really like that. So I don't know, let me do some thinking here. All right, doing some brainstorming. I really want to use that fair lead on the front of this bumper. That's the way it lines up. It doesn't look right sitting down in there like I was originally thinking, so we gotta figure out. This has no holes to mount a fair lead. This bumper was, again, back from the days when I guess that was something new they were just starting to do with the fair leads. Remember the 4Runner, I went ahead and put a roller fair lead on the front of it, that bumper, and I think I had to drill some holes for that as well. Oh, this thing is custom mounted too. This has an aluminum front TF2 bumper mount, and I believe it's been shaved and changed and got all this fitting. Oh, lost the screw. Shaved down to fit nice and tight on the body, because you don't want that. You still want that approach angle. You can see there the buckets inside. Got a little dip here. You can see where that corner of that other winch was rubbing. So I think we can grind this out enough and make some space. I need to see if this fair lead, where the holes, so it looks like we can drill holes next to that and still be able to get some screws through. So that means I'm gonna have to take this off. So that's not a fun part. These little winches, you can see you gotta take that cotter pin out and pull that out, or untie this, which I think I have worse luck tying these tiny little knots than I do with these little bitty cotter pins. All right, success. Just needed a little coercion. I gotta pull the little pin out and pray that we don't lose the loop that we have as we go to shove it through the bumper and the fair lead and everything. Oh, come on. That knot is tight. Saved it. These little things. We used to use these at the factory, Peterbilt factory. These little tiny flathead screws that come in handy for all kinds of things. So I like to try to make that just a little wider. All right, we should be good to go. So I'm going to start by dremeling the front side of the inside of the bumper. I'm going to go pretty far. This is a very thick bumper. I mean, it's that thick all the way through. We're about 4 millimeters. Pretty solid stuff. You know, you can't get these anymore, unfortunately. My hoop has been loose for years, and it looks like it's actually welded in. And yeah, it hadn't come out. I still carry the truck by that, so it'll be when I least expect it. This bumper already has some pretty decent looking D-rings on it, so yep, we'll start with that. All right, guys, got a little bit of space in there, but not enough. I'm going to swap out the plate from the other winch. Just be careful when you take this apart, because this end does come off and you could lose your whole spool out of there. It does have a little bit of spring to it, so you just got to keep an eye on that stuff. Don't want to tear apart your new winch that far. So I looked in my bin. I don't have any other extra winch plates that have different holes in it. You see this one's been a variety of places in its life. So we're going to see how this looks on here and see how it lines up. This winch will not come apart. It's got that one structural piece across the top, so I'm not worried about it. I'm going to go ahead and reuse the new screws from the new winch, because why not? Get these lined up. Guys, I swear, everything I do, if there's a way to do it wrong, I will find it and show you. So I just discovered, I got it back together, I put it on this other plate, and it started free spooling, and I couldn't get it to lock, and I was like, great, did I break it? So I hooked it up to the 4Runner, which has the same winch, and I just used that as controller because it's already got a jumper and everything, put a battery on it, and it wouldn't spool. So the bases are different widths. This is just a little bit narrower than your standard winch mounting tray, apparently. So put it back on the stock one. There's a spring in there that keeps tension on that spool, and it was allowing it the extra 2 millimeters to pop off the teeth, and it wasn't biting with the gearing. So now we are alive and working again. This thing has got some serious force. So I got to do some decision making, because I need more space. I either got to cut the winch or cut the bumper. I've been dancing around it. I'm going to try to take some more out of here, but I don't think it's going to be enough because we got the plate in the way now. So what I'm thinking, I really want to put this on this truck. So again, we have to customize everything apparently on RC4wd. So I'm going to take this to the bench grinder. I'm going to put everything out of the way, and we're going to take off some of this right here. We're going to go back to the screw. We're going to take some of the plate. We're going to take some of the actual winch housing itself. I'm not going to be pulling 50 pounds. This truck probably weighs 6.5 at best. I bet we can still hang it off the table with the winch when we're done. So we're going to roll the dice. I did want to show you while we were here. This is the type of battery thing I was talking about. I've got another one of these for Dean somewhere. It's just a little in between. It goes to female to male, and it has the little like FTC or something for the receiver. That way you don't have to have a second battery or none of that mess and tidy up the wiring. This is another truck that needs a electronics upgrade. We need to get one of those fusions in here, but anywho, that's a thing for another time. I'm gonna turn all this off, and I'll show you this on the video so we can see how we do it. We're gonna cut up our brand new expensive anniversary edition winch. so we can make my oldest TF2 have some of the newest stuff on it. Alright guys, it's the next day. I got my little jumper wire thing from Amazon. They got about 3 or 4 of these for around $8. They were actually able to get them in one day, so that was usually doesn't happen out here in the country. So this is real easy. It just makes your wire longer, which unfortunately this one already has a longer wire. I did pick up some of these in XT60 as well because I got a feeling I'm going to be doing a Fusion SE. Might do a Pro on this one. I don't know. This truck is more of a serious crawler, but I don't know. We'll see. So your battery input side here that says B is set up for a servo wire. So this is just a 2-pin. You got your plus and your minus. It'll work. And the other one I shaved this down a little bit, and it does not like to stay put in there. So we'll be replacing the one on the 4Runner as well. So that's pretty much all you got to do. So now our winch will get power whenever there's battery plugged in. Excuse me, losing my voice today. So, like I said, I'm not going to do any of that wiring because I think I'm going to replace all that soon. But I am going to go ahead and use my cloth wire wrap to do the servo wire and the winch wire nice and clean down the side. And I may go ahead and tie this stuff up a little bit too. It's looking like it's going to fit right here on this side of the battery tray, being the floorboard. That Hilux still has the old school interior, so it's got a lot of leg room in there. We could turn this around and maybe do something with a little bit of extra wire. I don't know. I don't want to make my battery lead too short, but it does need to be tied up a little bit. So I'm going to do that, tidy things up, and then we can test this thing out. All right, it's all in. Put that there. Got this wrapped up real nice. If you do run down this side of the TF2, just be on the lookout for your spur gear. I had to bump it out a little bit. It will rub if you're not careful. Yeah, that's the only thing bad about it. That little jumper is it extends your battery connection. But like I said, we got plenty of room underneath this truck, so it is not an issue. So now we gotta figure out what can we hang this thing from. I'm gonna throw the body on real quick and find something, see if this thing can pull itself up vertically. All right, here goes everything. Gotta hold this, make sure it doesn't come loose. Got some power. That's a very small 3-cell. That's a little 2003S. So make sure I don't get it all spooled on one side. Like I said, that's not a super heavy truck. It's probably 6 or 7 pounds, if I had to guess. Actually, I have a scale. We can weigh it here in a minute and see how much it actually weighs. And I've just been goofing around. Wonder which one of these trucks would win in a tug of war. They got about the same setups on it. I think these two have a date to go crawl at my local hobby shop here pretty soon. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap this video up. If you're curious, this is the new RC4 Drive 110 Warn 8274 winch 75th anniversary. It's part number Z-E0027. And yeah, these winches are stout. I love the other one I've got on the 4Runner. I'm pretty sure that one's still available too. If red's not your thing. These are it's pretty cool, and that's not just like bracelet rope. That's serious stuff. When it was tight with the truck hanging on it, it felt stiff. It didn't feel like just a regular string. It's got a little oomph to it. And this newer version of their wireless controller is the Warn 110 93043 wireless winch controller set, part number Z-E0130. So, anyways, yeah, check them out, RC4wdrive.com, and get out there and do something fun with the hobby, guys. Keep it scale. I'm ready to go crawling with these two rigs now that they've both got little updates. We'll go crawl them once and see how they do with the old setups, and then we'll start looking at upgrading the ESC motor situation on them, and yeah, go from there. But get out there and have some fun with the hobby, no matter what it is, crawler, planes, anything. Have fun, keep it scale, and I'll see you next time.